Hello guys, good morning. Welcome to our channel, Wilkie and Mary. Ah, matagal matagal tayong hindi nag Hello guys, good morning. Welcome to Matagal tayong hindi nag-upload ng video guys. Unang-una yung first intro natin is yung ubo. Parang may para may pinagdaanan tayo guys. Parang parang Mike Enriquez. Kumusta po kayo diyan? So guys, nagla-live tayo ngayon is kasi i-update namin kayo. Gusto ko lang kayong i-update kung ano na ang nangyayari dito sa Iceland sa ngayon. Una-una yung volcanic activity doon malapit sa city Reykjavik. And yung pangalawa, kung ano na yung mga COVID restrictions dito sa Iceland, ano na yung COVID status dito sa Iceland. So guys, bago ang lahat, shout out muna sa ating mga tagapakinig, sa ating mga listeners diyan, yung mga taga-suporta, especially kay Wilkie TV sa other channel natin, at saka sa sa Heartthrob ng Almeria Leyte, Biliran, Papa G Vlog. So sino pa ba? Yun lang yung naalala ko kasi dalawa lang yung ano natin. Sino pa ba? Shout out to Mr. Ronel Castillo Mix Vlog. Maraming salamat Ronel sa punta dito sa ating live stream. Taga Almeria pala to, sabi ni Mary. Hindi pa tayo na-meet ng personally, Ronel Castillo yata. Okay lang naman. Okay lang dito, Ronel. Okay lang naman, Kuya Ronel, sabi. sabi ni Mary. Yes, mag-update tayo guys sa sa mga kaganapan dito sa Iceland. Unang-una, nitong madaling araw guys, lumilindol na naman. Hindi naman siya masyadong malakas dito sa area namin. Sa area namin is South Coast or sa South region. Medyo may kahinaan lang, pero talagang feel mo yung earthquake. Minsan din may mga kahinaan din nung sa gabi, pero nung sa kinaumagahan, nagising na lang ako kasi feel ko talaga yung earthquake. Sabi dito sa news, March 10, ang news source natin ay viser.is, there are sharp morning quake in Iceland. It was around 8:49 in the morning, magnitude 4.6 guys yung magnitude earthquake doon sa epicenter ng lindol kanina. The quake occurred was just east of Fagradalsfjall. Ang hirap basahin. Alam nyo guys, there are more than 700 earthquakes have been recorded on the Reykjanes Peninsula since midnight. Ito yung anong tawag dito? Lugar kung saan nandun yung Vulkan na masyadong active sa ngayon. Yung nagbibigay ng maraming earthquakes sa ngayon. So this morning guys, or this day, more than 700 earthquakes daw have been recorded. So ang dami, masyadong madami guys. Ang kadalasan sa kanilang ang kadalasan dito guys is nandun sa majority have been at west, or majority have been in the Fagradalsfjall. Some also originated in north or northeast of Grindavik. So yeah, 700 earthquakes sa loob lang ng 24 oras. So napaka-active po ng Vulcan na yan. So shout out tayo dyan mga brad. Wilkie and Mary. Live po tayo ngayon. So sa mga gustong pumasok, pasok lang kayo dyan. So yes, talagang may 700 earthquakes recorded guys. Dito natin makikita sa weather.is yung official weather website ng Iceland. There are last earthquake is just right now 11:23. But it was just 0.6 magnitude. It was 2.2 kilometers from the epicenter. Yeah, so maraming nung mga nakaraang linggo guys, medyo maraming malalakas na earthquake na feel natin in the past few days, lalong-lalo na sa gabi. So, yeah. Kumbaga active yung vulkan na to. At saka sabi dito sa balita, ano din, meron din palang magnitude 5.1 earthquake last night din to, 3:14 AM. It was just originated southeast or 2.4 kilometers southwest Fagradalsfjall. Ito yung Bulkan, dito yung Bulkan na mas active. So guys, balik tayo. Maraming salamat sa mga nanonood dyan. We have 2 million in the house. Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat pa rin. So guys, balik tayo dun sa earthquake. Masyadong malakas dun sa dun sa city. 4.6 magnitude. But dito sa kinalalagyan namin kasi medyo may kalayuan, hindi lang masyadong malakas, parang konti lang yung nafe-feel namin. As of today, this morning, we felt those very slight shakes on our houses. Parang lang, ang tawag dito, parang lang sa hangin ba. So guys, punta tayo sa COVID restrictions dito sa Iceland. Ano ba ang status ng COVID dito sa Iceland? Ano ba ang mga restrictions na in effect ngayon sa Iceland? So guys, my reference for today is the official website of COVID-19 in Iceland, which is the covid.is. So this is a very relevant source, guys. Ito yung source na kung saan or news website na kung saan related sa COVID-19 in Iceland, which is very accurate, and ito talaga yung mga sinusunod ng karamihan or kadalasan, or hindi lang kadalasan, talagang lahat ng tao ay nakasubaybay dito. So guys, we have this general information about this COVID-19 restriction in Iceland. Sa ngayon guys, yung Iceland from 20 people, from 10 people from previous months group or coming together in the same place, maximum of 10 people lang yun guys. I think last December yata yun, or last November, from 20 people slightly increasing until 20 people, and then now guys, we are now balik tayo doon sa 20 people guys, or 10 people. Ano lang yon, may maximum limit of number of people that will come together as a group, pero may time din yun guys, may time limit din kung hanggang saan or hanggang kailan lang kung hanggang kailan lang open yung for example yung establishment, restaurants, hotels, lahat hanggang 9 PM lang po yun guys. So ganon ka stricto dito nung mga nakaraang buwan. Ngayon guys, since medyo kumonti na yung ng COVID dito sa Iceland, general information for you guys, yung number of people that will come together as a group or general number limit is now 50 people. So masyadong medyo okay na guys. So kasi 50 people na, dun sa pinagtatrabahoan namin na hotel, from 10 people medyo nakakalungkot, hanggang 25 people malungkot pa rin, hanggang ngayon 50 people. So naka-reach out na kami ng number of hotel room bookings up to 50 people. So medyo hindi na siya ganong nung tawag sa atin alkanse nung sa Bisaya pa alkanse. So 50 people. Last weekend we have 50 people. We have guest of 50 people in hotel. So masaya guys. Pero dito, sabi dito, the distance should be followed, or in the maximum number of persons in the same space is 50 with certain restrictions. So kumbaga nagbigay sila ng 50 people pero may restrictions pa rin guys. Ano ba tong restriction? Kailangan yung special rules na face mask. Kung hindi ma-practice yung 2 meter distance rule, kailangan magsuot ng mask. kailangang magsuot ang mask, kailangan isuotin ang mask, at saka itong 2 meter distance kailangan in effect din. So the maximum number of persons in the same space with 50 is 50 with certain restrictions both in public space and in private space. However, this number restrictions does not apply to household members in their homes. Special rules apply for events and guests and booked seats. So kumbaga yung 50 hindi siya applicable kung kayo ay magkasama, kung kayo ay magsama-sama or nasa isang bahay. Pero I mean yung 2 meter distance rule hindi siya applicable kung kayo ay nasa sama-sama sa isang bahay, kung pamilya-pamilya lang kayo. May din sila guys, the children number limit, proximity limit, and mask obligation do not apply to the children born in 2005 or later. So yung mga bata guys, pwede na hindi gumamit ng magsuot ng mask. So all workplaces and other activities guys are 2 meter. Proximity limit between people who are not in close contact must be ensured. So 2 meter rules pa rin guys. From 50 people, 2 meter rules pa rin. Lalo na kapag hindi nyo kilala ang isa't isa. So 2 meters is still on effect. Mask duty. So may mask use sila guys. Where it is not possible to ensure 2 meter proximity limit. So kailangan gumamit ng mask. At saka doon sa exception, with the exception of schools and certain events where guests sit in book seats, and the obligations to wear a mask does not apply to the children born in 2005 or later. So face mask should be used in public transport also. So kailangan kung magbiyahe ka guys, kung pupunta ka ng ibang lugar, sasakay ka ng bus, kailangan may mask, nakamask ka rin. Kadalasan sa atin guys, kung i-compare natin yung using of the mask, face mask from Iceland compare sa Philippines, dito mas sa observation ko lang guys, I'm not saying any bad about it, it's just on my observations. In my observation guys, kung papasok sila sa grocery stores or kahit anong establishments, kahit sa establishment guys, they are very cautious baga, to wear the mask. Hindi talaga sila papasok kung hindi nasuot ng maayos ang mask. Kailangan nasa tamang ayos talaga ang mask. Pero sa pag nasa labas na sila, kasi bihira lang naman ang mga tao rito, di kagaya dyan sa atin, napakaraming tao din naman. So at saka compare sa population, napakadami po sa Philippines compare dito sa Iceland. So pero guys, in terms of discipline, should I say discipline, masyado silang particular in wearing the mask. Minsan nga pag nasa hotel sila, doon sa pinagtrabaho ko sa hotel, do we allow to use the mask, or tinatanong lang ako kung okay bang hindi mag-mask or okay bang tanggalin yung mask. Sabi ko it's up to you, kasi doon sa hotel na pinagtatrabahan ko, hindi po kami masyadong strict sa mask because we have ensured the 2 meter distance between each table, and kasi bihira lang, konti lang naman din yung guest namin. So guys, yun lang yung observation ko. At saka Continue tayo guys. So sa mga restaurants and alcoholic beverages establishments, they are allowed to open already until 2300 or 11 o'clock in the evening every day, but must comply with the 50 person number limit and 2 meter proximity limit. So hanggang alas 11 na yung restaurants and bars guys na open, and then 50 people hanggang 50 people pa rin lang yung limit, at saka i-ensure din yung 2 meter distance, 2 meter distancing. So napaka-importante din sa kanila yun guys. So sa mga gym or health fitness guys, 50 people pa rin in each room, and must register their participation in advance. So kailangan pre-book guys kung gusto mong magpakonsulta or sa gusto mong pumunta sa isang fitness gym. So kailangan advance booking din guys. So ito yung nasa rules nila. So guys, yun yung mga current restrictions on meetings. So papunta tayo guys sa man tawag dito sa guidelines for individuals in quarantine for visits to Iceland, arrival in the country. So ito yung mga galing abroad guys. Sabi dito, those who come to Iceland after being in high risk areas abroad need to be quarantined. So quarantine with regard to COVID-19 lasts for 14 days. So yung quarantine regarding doon sa COVID-19, so 14 days yung quarantine period nila according to the rules in this country. So yun 14 days. Quarantine after a trip to high risk area can be shortened by virus screening or PCR test and diagnosis of COVID-19 disease upon arrival in the country, and again 6 to 7 days after arrival for so kumbaga kahit na PCR test ka na guys, pagdating mo sa Iceland kahit negative, meron pang 6 to 7 days quarantine after the arrival. So 5 or 6 to 7 days. So yun yung mga yun yung natin diyan. So welcome po sa ating 3 million in the house. Mag tayo guys. Wagkuhan siguro. Headset. Open mo lagi.
How are you? Oh my God, I cannot hear you.
Okay na? So guys, tuloy po tayo. Nandito na tayo sa sana ba yun? Guidelines. So guys, basahin natin yung guidelines for the public regarding home quarantine. So, yung quarantine meaning nila guys is used when a person may have been infected with a disease but has no symptoms. Kumbaga may two classifications sila guys. And then yung isa, isolation, applies to patients with symptoms of infectious disease. So kung sinabing quarantine, na-infect siya, nilagay siya dun sa quarantine pero walang sintomas na na naramdaman. So guys, punta tayo. Those who come to Iceland after being in high-risk areas abroad must go into quarantine and must register before arriving in the country. So kailangan mag-register guys before papasok o before lalapag dito sa country. Ano ba ang mga high-risk areas abroad guys na na-register dito sa Iceland? So ano ba yung mga risk countries around the world guys na na-register sa Iceland? So kumbaga yung countries na kinonsider ng Iceland na high risk is sabi dito is all countries guys and regions in the world except Greenland. So Greenland lang yung exemption na hindi siya qualified as high risk area from COVID-19 virus. So lahat guys, lahat siya except sa Greenland. To our channel, welcome Mary. And from Iceland naman guys, kung gusto nyo mag-travel, the people from Iceland are advised not to travel in high-risk areas. So kumbaga yung mga high-risk areas, lahat guys, so they have advised not to travel those areas. So may mga exceptions din guys. Those who have stayed abroad for less than a day and exempted from the rule on presentation of negative PCR test, screening and quarantine are the crews of aircrafts and cargo ships residing in Iceland or having a base in Iceland, and who have followed special precautions during a work trip that has not lasted for more than 72 hours, flight crews, or provided that crew exemption letter to that effect, or where the same crew has been has been at sea for at least 14 days. So exempted siya guys doon sa tinatawag natin ditong Uy, shout out po sa ating bagong bagong tagapag Masid, Rosemary Montilla Monacar, Pantas, maligayang araw dyan sa'yo. Rosemary Montilla Monacar, baka hindi ka pa nakapag-subscribe sa channel natin or subscriber na. Maraming salamat sa iyo. So guys, quarantine after a trip in Iceland. Anyone who has been in a risk area for more than 24 hours is obliged to take 2 samples. So kailangan 2 samples after returning home and quarantine until the result of the second sampling are available. Sampling is for virus screening or PCR test and diagnosis of COVID-19 disease and its first sampling upon arrival in the country and the second 5 days later. So, kung galing kayong abroad guys from high risk area, so for more than 24 hours, kailangan yung pagdating sa airport, kailangan kayong i-PCR test after knowing the result or after having the PCR test. You have to undergo a quarantine for 5 days. And then after 5 days guys, i-test na rin kayo ulit about this COVID-19 virus or PCR test. So yun guys. Day 1 is considered to be the day after the previous sampling. If the result of the second sampling is negative, quarantine is stopped. For 14 days from arrival in the country, everyone must take good care of their disease prevention and avoid contact with vulnerable individuals. If a virus is detected and a person is diagnosed with COVID-19, the person goes into isolation and contacts in quarantine if applicable. So, 14 days from the arrival daw guys, they have to take good care of themselves and of their disease prevention. They follow the rules. After 14 days, bawasan yung halubilo or contact, lalong-lalo na sa mga elderly people. So, yun guys. Kung galing kayo sa trip, yun yung mga quarantine rules dito sa Iceland. So guys, yung mga bata is required then after their trip from abroad, they have required to undergo into the quarantine also. It says here children born in 2005 and later who travel are also required to quarantine upon arrival in the country. So yung mga bata na guys, i-quarantine din born from 2005. Quarantine after known exposure to COVID-19 disease. So kung hindi nyo alam kung may or kung galing kayo sa ano guys sa travel na may very known exposure for the COVID-19, or kung na ano may COVID-19 doon sa pinuntahan nyo, you will be undergoing to 14 days quarantine or until the symptoms appear.
Natola has come to your rescue.
So guys, pasok lang kayo sa mga ano natin dyan. Hindi talaga hasa na mag live stream. At saka yung Tagalog natin is parang kakanta lang siguro ako, no. So guys, welcome po. So guys, continue tayo dun sa ano natin. Uh, an individual in quarantine should stay at home and communicate with as few individuals as possible. So may mga options ay may mga ano tayo dito guys. So kung nag-quarantine kayo as an individual quarantine na nagstay at home kayo, so the quarantine must be housing where there is a special sanitary facility or each individual or a family in the quarantine. Portable accommodation such as tents, motorhomes, or caravans are not permitted accommodation during quarantine as they do not meet the requirements for private sanitation and are not permitted to travel during quarantine. So hindi yon allowed guys, yung mga motorhomes, caravans, or tents. Hindi yun siya allowed as your quarantine facility or staying at home quarantine. A fully equipped sustainable motorhome which has a toilet, shower, cooking facility, and sleeping space can be used as a quarantine place, provided it stays still during the quarantine. So kung kompleto yung motorhomes mo guys, may CR, tubig, lutuan, sleeping space, so okay yun. Okay daw yun. Pwede yun. Accommodation with dormitories such as hostels, hunting lodges, or mountain huts, where people who do not share a home sleep in the same space, use the same sanitary facilities, and or cooking facilities are not permitted in quarantine places. So kumbaga yung mga dormitories or hostels guys, kahit magkaiba kayo ng tulugan pero isa lang naman yung kubeta ninyo, yung lutuan, hindi rin yun siya advised guys as a quarantine facility. Hindi siya pwede. Homestay and guest house that receive guests in quarantine must ensure access to separate sanitary facilities for each unit, room, apartment used for quarantine, and those staying in such quarantine facilities may not use common areas such as lounge, kitchens, etc. So, yung mga guest houses guys, okay to. Okay siya kasi you have your own guest house, ikaw lang yung mag-isa, may sarili kang lutuan, kubeta at higaan, okay lang yun. So, dito guys, a person quarantine may not use public transport. So, hindi pwedeng sumakay ng bus or taxi kung naka-quarantine ka. You should have to stay at home or in your quarantine area. This includes domestic flights and buses and but may use taxis or car rentals or private cars. Person in quarantine for travel may use an airport shuttle if you need to seek necessary health care that requires assistance with ambulance transport, something like that, and you have to call the emergency numbers. Upon arrival in the country, it is permitted to travel from the border station to the quarantine station. So permitted siya guys from the border to your quarantine station. If the stay in Iceland is shorter than the quarantine period, the same applies to departure. May travel to a border post. So guys, pasok na kayo. Magbibigay tayo ng banana. Nasa na ba tong ating mga suki? So guys, tuloy tayo. Marami dito ano. An individual in quarantine may not go to work also or school. So quarantine certificate can be picked up at the health center with an electronic ID. So So mayroon din dito guys, quarantine person may not receive guests at his or her home during the quarantine. So hindi rin yan pwede guys. And so punta tayo guys, update tayo kung ano nang status ng COVID-19 dito sa Iceland. Vaccination for COVID-19 in the week of March 10, 8 to 14 in Iceland. About 7,000 people will be vaccinated with this week. So 7,000 people guys yung target na mabakunahan dito sa Iceland in this week. 3,300 people will be vaccinated before the first vaccination with Pfizer vaccine. Vaccination will continue in older age groups and individuals under the age of 80 will be vaccinated. So guys, yung COVID-19 information sa Iceland ngayon is saan ba natin yun makita? March 9. So guys, welcome po. 5 million in the house. Magparamdam naman kayo dyan. Ito yung live stream natin na nagbibigay update kung ano na ang pangyayari natin dito sa Iceland ngayong araw.
Bawa ka?
Hindi man, ibalik mo. Pasok mga brad, pasok guys, pasok kayo. Welcome po sa ating live stream.
Sitting throwing rocks across the pavement, hoping it'll cave and swallow me whole. Wondering why my mind keeps on spinning. This is how I live, into me what's so. Why am I like this? Something's always amiss. Can't put my finger on it, but it's there. Wait for it to subside, but my mind won't apply. Waiting for the clear. Is it bad sometimes? I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful. Listen, I can see the light today, but I can also see the bones decay. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm doing my best not to run away. Sitting throwing rocks across the pavement, hoping it'll cave and swallow me whole. Wondering how the world keeps on spinning, kinda scared of living when it unfolds. Hard to see the light when everything is lying, waiting for the clear. Thankful I'm alive, but terrified of dying. But hey, I'm still here. Is it bad sometimes? I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful.
Welcome po, in 5 million in the house. Welcome po, magparamdam naman kayo dyan.
But I can also see the bones decay. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm doing my best not to run away. You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars. But the dark gets so lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence. And the dark's all that I see. When your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound, I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. sky. You're the night sky hiding behind dark gray clouds. I can't figure you out now. I see you're blue. There is so much cold in you, and the silence is so loud when you go. I just stay dancing with my shadow all day. Watch the tide. I can't find the point where our two paths align, but you're the night.
5 million in the house. Welcome po. Magparamdam naman kayo dyan.
But I always fear the dark. Now I see violet. I can feel your silence. You always feel so far when your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound. I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky.
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the Tahoe closest starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I wanna say goodbye. I forgive the pain you gave to me so long ago. Sleepless nights I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven showed me how to live again. Now I'm falling and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I wanna say goodbye. Gravity.
Baby, wait, I know that you're afraid, but it'll be okay if you just stay with me. We can run from here and we can disappear, and they won't find us where we are going, dear. So baby, hold on to me, 'cause I know I can make you believe in something that only we can see. Oh, so baby, hold on to me, hold on to me. Baby, wait, I know that you're afraid.
So guys, paalam na po ako. Maraming salamat po. 5 million in the house. Hanggang sa susunod, huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe at i-click yung bell button para updated kayo guys sa next live stream natin. Next time, paghahanda natin ng mabuti para hindi tayo maubusan ng sasabihin. Hope guys, sa susunod, kita-kita tayo. Maraming salamat. Wilkie and Mary po. Peace out on the next video.